Hello everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of the ShadowCast, folks. It's been a busy podcast, to be fair, at the moment, folks. I am the Black Shadow, and I'm sure the title of this one leaves no guess as to what the main topic of this one is going to be about, folks. Something I've been asked about plenty already in the couple of days since news of this has crept out, folks, and I figure it probably warranted an official statement, at least, from myself on, well, what's going on about it, basically. Before we just touch on that, I will quickly want to delve back to Resident Evil 4. Again, thank you all so much for all the support we've had so far in the few videos that have gone up for the Resident Evil 4 HDLP. It has been fantastic, and it has been unbelievably well received. You know, and I really thank all you guys for that. It's been interesting to record. It's been interesting using all the new equipment, new software, and everything like that. It's proved a bit awkward at times to put it all together. You know, we're still learning plenty about what we can and can't do with it. You know, and having to work out little tweaks here and there that give me a little bit of angst, but we're doing our best to get through. The reason I'm bringing up RE4 quickly is so I think I'm gonna I've been having to think about because of the fact that the LP is being viewed as much as it is. Normally, obviously, we've got 2 LPs running. We've got obviously Resident Evil 4, but I have also been running Final Fantasy X. You know, in the run-up to this. Now, normally, for, you know, what I have done when I have 2 LPs, I've kind of done recording in sessions. So, like, I would do like a session of one LP and then a session of another. So, like, I've done like, you know, Final Fantasy X. You know, do that for like 8-10 videos. You know, like a week and a half, that sort of thing. Then I would then go and do a session of the other LP, which in this case I suppose would be like Resident Evil 4, you know, for like week and a half, whatever. And then I would then go back to Final Fantasy X, Resident Evil 4, and whatever else. That's just the kind of system we've run with. Now, the thing is, folks, is that I've been doing some thinking, because the fact that Resident Evil 4 I'm thoroughly impressed and quite proud, to be fair, of the viewership it's getting at the moment. Now, it feels a bit ridiculous, you know, when I've got an LP that's being viewed about as much as anything else is, to say, yeah, you know, the viewing's been fantastic, best things ever had. Now I'm going to not record it for over a week. It just seems crazy to me, folks. So, what I'm going to be doing, for the purposes of Resident Evil 4, mainly, is I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time round. We've still got a few more videos before the official end of the session, which would be, I'll keep spoilers to a minimum, but when we would have left the village area, basically, is probably whereabouts I would have ended the session, basically. And then I would then have gone and done like a week's worth of Final Fantasy X and whatever else. Now, partially because I've already recorded the entire next session of Final Fantasy X. I've recorded it about 2 weeks ago, actually. The reason is because I needed to get to the end point of that session as quickly as I could. Because I've got lots of off-screen work that I've got to do and am doing for Final Fantasy X. Lots of off-screen work. People watching LP and have played the game probably know roughly where I'm going with that, but I'll leave that for now. I want to keep RE4 going along with it. So this is what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be alternating between the two. So instead of doing like a week of one and a week of other, I'm going to be alternating day to day between videos, between LPs. So I would say, you know, like get to the end of the session for RE4. I would then upload a video from Fantasy X. And then the next day, and then the next day after that, I would then upload a Resident Evil 4 video. Then Final Fantasy X, Resident Evil 4, you get the idea, folks. I pondered for a bit of uploading a video of each on the same days, but I am aware there are people watching both LPs, and asking them to watch about 2 hours worth of video footage a day is personally unreasonable. You guys give me so much of your time as it is. You know, I really do appreciate it. You know, it's very, very generous of you guys. And I would struggle to watch that amount of video footage a day, you know, and people would start falling behind. I don't like that, you know, the way I'm uploading it, you know, daily. I like having everyone watching, you know, get up to about the same part. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. So we're going to be alternating between one and the other, and that will be starting in a few videos' time when we leave the village area of Resident Evil 4. So just a heads up about that. Now, the main topic, folks. If you are unaware of the news story, I have put up a link in the description from, well, GameSpot is just where I read it, so that's just the article that I have put up, folks. And so this is from a couple of days ago, when news got out that it is possible that Capcom may, and I stress the word at this point, may, be considering a HD remake of Resident Evil 2. You know, the game from 1998 that we LP'd many, many moons ago. Now, I've had a lot of questions already, and people commenting and asking, if this game does come out, would I be doing an LP of it? And I've had a lot of people ask me, so I figured I would do a video and do a part of an update as it is, because I was thinking about changing things anyways with the upload schedule. So I figured I would put this in as well. The short answer is, assuming certain criteria are sort of met, yes. Now for the slightly longer version. But first thing we've got to figure out, and we don't know at the moment, is let's look at the whole Capcom thing for the past few years, and they've been remastering these games. So you've had, first of all, you had obviously like Code Veronica X and Resident Evil 4. Then you've had Resident Evil, the GameCube remake of Resident Evil. That's been HD'd only a few months ago. Well, it feels like it, anyways. Then you have they have currently got Resident Evil 0 in the works. They announced that a few months ago. That I don't know quite when that's due to be released, but it probably won't be till next year. I wouldn't have thought. I don't know if they put up an official date on that. I have no idea. And just so you guys also know, unless they add a lot of extra things into that game, the HD remake, I do not plan to LP it. We've already done the blind LP for it, and I did like the Leech Hunter thing. I don't really have a lot of extra stuff I feel I could really give to that. The blind LP of that game was absolutely fantastic as it was. I thought it was a fantastic LP. I don't think there's much more I could really add to that, but we'll have to see what happens and develops there. Now, first of all, let's just assume that this remake for Resident Evil 2 does happen. The question that has to be asked is, to what extent is this game going to be remade? Because obviously we think of these remakes, we think of Resident Evil 4 that we're watching, we think of the HD remaster of the GameCube remake. Doing the remake to that scale for a Resident Evil 2 game that was made about 18 years ago, about 17 years ago, I think officially, is a much, much more different kettle of fish than what Capcom have been doing, with Resident Evil 4, with CVX, They're not trying to demean what they have been doing, but they've been graphical touch-ups, if you know what I mean. It's not like the game has been completely reworked like they did with the GameCube remake of the original Resident Evil. They redid the game, basically, for all intents and purposes. I'm not going to get into specifics here. And yes, it takes a lot of time, a lot of work and effort, and people do appreciate that. But you've got to think back to Resident Evil 2. You can't just kind of take the engine that was in the game and spruce it up a bit. It doesn't work for Resident Evil 2. It's it's 3 generations ago now. The polygon era, as I have been known to call it from time to time. And you can't just put in better 3D graphics as it is anyways, because you've got all the cel-shaded backgrounds that would all have to be redone and reworked. You've then also got all of the, you know, the graphics in the actual game that would have to be updated and renewed and brought up to sort of 2015 standards. And then they would have to look right. And against cel-shaded backgrounds, you're not really going to be able to achieve it. So, say, alright, okay, then let's say they make it, you know, I get visions in my head, imagining it a bit like what Resident Evil Outbreak was a little bit. But let's say they make it up to like the Resident Evil Remake HD standards. The problem with that is that the backgrounds are all 3D as it was, and so they could just be spruced up along with the actual in-game graphics. Obviously, Resident Evil 2, there were no 3D background graphics because it was all cel-shaded. You know, it was all screens. That's not how the game worked. So, if they were to remake Resident Evil 2, they would more or less have to start from scratch. They would have to completely redevelop the engine and start again virtually. You know, even if they keep all the storyline obviously the same, they've got all the locations, they already know what they're going to look like roughly. You know, they keep all the dialogue, they don't screw around with that. They've still got to completely redesign the game engine, folks. And that is going to take some time. So it'll be very interesting to see if Capcom do go forward with this idea. As they have said they are interested in doing more Resident Evil remasters, folks, and they are starting to run out of titles, really. Is to what extent they will redo this. Because, you know, there is a bit of scope here, and if they want to redo it to, say, Remake HD standards, it's going to take some time. If they are going to redo it to those standards, well, we would be absolutely fantastically happy to LP it, believe me. It would also be kind of cool if they managed to, like, include some extra bits and pieces as well. That would be kind of nice. But even if they just do it to that standard, it would be great to do that and LP that game, folks. But just a bit of thought there as to what exactly they may do. Obviously, we'll have to wait until more official news comes out. I mean, this hasn't even been officially announced. This was like a Facebook post or something like that. So we'll have to see how things develop. And as more news does come out, I will put up another video, I'm sure, some point later on down the line as to more official plans to potentially LP this game if it comes out, folks. But yeah, so I'm going to thank you guys very much for listening to this episode. The next video of Resident Evil 5 should be coming up in a few hours' time, unless something extraordinary happens. I had an almighty scare with my PC. It tried to die on me last night, which I wasn't happy with. So hopefully that's not going to happen again. But we'll have to see. So anyways, thank you guys very much for listening. And I will see you in a few hours back in a rural part of Europe, folks. So thanks for watching. I'll see you then.